Today we're going to leave some guitars outside in the cold on purpose. Yeah, I know it's a little risky, but let me explain why. So it is currently 24, I don't know if you can see that, 24 degrees outside, and it's supposed to get down into the teens tonight here in Georgia, and it never gets into the teens ever. So we have over here a bunch of guitars. We're gonna leave them in the car overnight. I picked these guitars specifically for a reason. Let me show you. First of all, humidity is more of a factor with guitar stuff than temperature is. So we're gonna cheat with a couple of these things, but we're also gonna do some legit stuff. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is my Close travel guitar. This thing is awesome. This would live in the living room, and it's great. This has a truss rod. We also have my McPherson acoustic. It does not have a truss rod, and it's just made with carbon fiber so stiff that it never ever moves. Is my Schecter Machine Gun Kelly signature guitar. This currently actually has 7s on it, or 8s. It has 8s on it, left over from the video that we did about string gauges. All right, so we have that guitar, but this guitar is all wood with a urethane finish, but it also has carbon fiber reinforcements in the neck. And then we also have my my junior copy that my friend built me, this custom thing that he built from scratch. And this is a mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fretboard. This has nitrocellulose finish on it, and this has 10s on it. So what we're gonna do is, I've got a notepad here. We're gonna go ahead and just take note of the neck relief and a couple of measurements, and then we're gonna throw this thing in the car, all of them in the car, and we're gonna see what happens. All right, so the yellow guitar is at a tight 0.05. The pink guitar, I'm pretty sure, is flat. It's 100% flat. So this one is 0. For those of you that think you need a neck relief, this guitar plays fine. Yeah, plays awesome. Okay, so that one is 0. Little baby Close guitar. That is a type 5 also. All right, and now let's check the McPherson Sable. And I won't be able to, I mean, this guitar doesn't have a truss rod, so this one kind of just is what it is. All right, so this one is like 7. All right, so we're gonna put all these guitars in the trunk of the car. Now here's the thing. I did this on purpose. This one has a truss rod, so we're gonna see if this one moves. This one does not have a truss rod. We're gonna see if this one moves. This one has carbon fiber reinforcements in the neck and a urethane finish. So we're gonna see if anything happens to the finish, and we're gonna see if anything happens to the action on the guitar, the neck relief on the guitar, and see if anything changes there. And then probably the riskiest one is this one, because this one is just a regular guitar with no enhancements to it. So this one is just mahogany body, rosewood fretboard, normal everything. Probably the least stable neck here, just because of how these necks are. And also it has a nitrocellulose finish. So is it gonna crack and get all spider webby? That's a question that we're gonna have to answer, and I don't know the answer to it. If it's spider webs and cracks, I kinda don't care, because it's kinda cool. But let's just see what happens as we do it. The measurement's done. Let's go ahead and just put these in the car. Temperature shows currently 46, but I just put that in the car, so we'll see how cold it actually gets. All right, so it shows 46 out here, 25 degrees outside. We'll see how cold it actually gets. Boom. All right, so it's the next morning. It is 21 degrees outside, and the guitars have been in the car all night. The light's a little weird because the sun is just coming up, but I wanted to do this at this right time. So I've got it all set up. We're going to bring these guitars in one at a time, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure them cold and just see how they feel and play and stuff. And then we're going to wait until this afternoon when they've come back up the temperature and everything and check them again. So we're going to get before, right after when they're still cold, and then when they're back to room temperature, and just see how much everything changes. So let's get these things in here one at a time, give them a quick measure and play. Do the easy one first. Type 5, just like it was. Alright, we'll check that one later when it gets warm. It's really cold. That one feels like it's a little more out of tune. Nothing moved though. I'm using the same feeler gauge I used yesterday. It's all the same. It must be just the strings, because nothing actually moved, which would make sense. So the strings must just be funky. We'll leave that alone and see how that thing does later. Alright, so this is the guitar with 7s on it. And this is the one with carbon fiber in the neck. Yeah, it's fine. It seems fine. The finish is all foggy and it's urethane, so we'll see if it comes up to temperature and causes any issues, but I think it's fine. All right. So first of all, see if we hear any popping or any finish issues. Sometimes you'll bring these in and they will just crack like popcorn, which is kind of what I was hoping would happen actually with this guitar. It may, as it comes up to temperature. I should say it was 19 degrees actually, the little thermometer that I left in the car. 19 degrees, and I didn't put them in any cases. You saw that because I didn't want to have any insulation things. I mean, it still feels almost exactly what I did yesterday, where I left it. There's one string that's like 2 cents maybe. So it might sound a little out of tune, but completely nothing. Absolutely nothing. No change whatsoever. Well, this is interesting. This is very interesting. All right, so it's been a couple of hours. I checked all the guitars after they'd warmed up. Nothing had moved. So the neck relief had stayed the same basically from before, while they were cold, when they warmed up. Everything was 100% fine. I should say the humidity in here was 50%. Outside it was like 32%, something like that, from my little thing in the, I used the same thing, put it in the trunk of the car. So let's go easiest to hardest. This is the McPherson Sable. Of course, it's all carbon fiber. It has no truss rod. It's 100% solid. And the close carbon fiber. I should say these are the original strings that I've had on this guitar since I got it new. The Machine Gun Kelly signature Schecter. What's unique about this guitar is it has carbon fiber reinforcements in the neck, so it is really stable too. And this actually has 7s on it, and this guitar has been set for 0 neck relief whatsoever. It's 100% flat, which if I set a guitar up myself, that's how I usually set it up. And it plays perfect. Let's go to basically a completely traditionally constructed guitar, mahogany body, Les Paul Jr. style. And this actually has a nitrocellulose finish on it. And I actually was kind of hoping that when I brought it into the house that it would lacquer check a little bit. But it did not. It's the same. What does that mean across all of these guitars? Well, first of all, I get a lot of feedback in various videos saying that not having a truss rod on an acoustic guitar is a dumb thing and it keeps people from buying a McPherson because it doesn't have a truss rod. I will tell you that no matter what I subject this guitar to, it 100% stays perfect at all times and it never ever moves. It's fantastic. This has Stringjoy Foxwood strings on it and it's perfectly fine. Now if we go to the travel guitar side and we go to the close guitar, this thing is the same thing. It's like 100% indestructible. The reason I did both of these is because this guitar actually has a truss rod in it. But as you can see with temperature change, I did not need a truss rod because there is this misconception out there that temperature changes your truss rod adjustment. We'll get to that in a minute. I'm just going to tell you it doesn't. Going to a conventionally constructed guitar with a truss rod with really low weight strings. These are 8s on here and this thing didn't move either. Now let's talk about finish first. Urethane is usually really durable when it comes to temperature changes. Would I recommend doing this on purpose? No, absolutely not. But if it accidentally happened, or if you ordered a guitar from Sweetwater on a Friday and it was a cold weekend and it shipped to you, and chances are it's going to be fine. Is there going to be an anomaly where you're going to ruin a finish on a guitar for some reason? Maybe. But don't stress too much. Chances are it's going to be fine. And this is an interesting little myth buster that people say that you can't set a guitar up flat with no fret buzz. We're going to do a whole video on that because that's a myth too. All right, now as we talk about the nitrocellulose one, again, not as big of a deal as people think. Everybody thinks that temperature is going to change the shape of the guitar. Humidity changes the shape of the guitar. If we were to bring this thing from 15 or 20% humidity all the way to 80% humidity, you would see the action change probably. But overnight, not very long, temperature only, it's not going to move that much. None of these guitars, like I said, 4 different types of necks, none of them moved. I would not use, or I would not leave a nitrocellulose guitar in a car overnight and bring it in the house because it probably will lacquer check. This guitar is relatively new. The finish is relatively new on it, and so it may have some elasticity still in it that allows it to do that. As it gets older, it might not. So if you've got a guitar with a nitrocellulose finish, I would not recommend doing it. But this was a fun experiment to see what would happen. At 19 degrees is pretty cold. That's as cold as it ever gets around here. And I figured I would give it a shot. If you have any questions or comments, get in the comments below and talk about it. I would like to know if you've ever had a bad experience with a guitar that came apart because of cold. But temperature is usually not the problem. Usually it's humidity when it comes to guitar stuff. So there you go. Fun experiment. Don't leave your guitar in your car if you can help it. Thanks for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe and like and do all the things that you do when you watch a video. And also, if you want to support the channel directly, go to Dylan Talks Stone, buy some pickups, use the links below. All that stuff helps. We'll see you in the next video.